Proteus Leadership proudly presents the Let's Go, Let's Grow podcast with Des Penny, founder of Proteus Leadership.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Let's Go, Let's Grow podcast. I'm Des Penny, and today we're diving deep into a conversation that every leader needs to have with themselves. It's called, Why Do I Feel Invisible? And together we're going to discover how to reclaim our power and our purpose. Because life doesn't just happen, we make it happen. And here's the truth, you don't know what you don't know until you stop, take a breath, and start asking better questions.
This episode of Let's Go, Let's Grow podcast is brought to you by Proteus Leadership, creating great leaders for over 32 years. To discover how Proteus can help you grow, lead, and make real impact, visit proteusleadership.com. Follow the link in the show notes.
Before we can talk about destiny or purpose, we've first got to get real about the challenge of looking after ourselves. You see, leadership's one of the greatest privileges a person can experience. We get the opportunity to influence lives, shape cultures, and build futures. But here's the hidden costs that people don't often talk about. The more you pour into the lives of others, the less you have left for yourself. And slowly, almost without realizing it, we can't become what I call invisible leaders. There for everyone else, but not there for ourselves. Sound familiar? As leaders, we're constantly asking, how can I help my team? How can I support people more? How can I solve that problem? How can I keep all the plates spinning? But when was the last time you asked, how am I doing? What do I need? Who's looking after me? The truth is, leadership can be very lonely. Even in a crowd, even in a busy team, even with all of the titles and accolades, it can still be lonely. Because here's what happens. People assume we're strong, so they stop checking in. They assume you're sorted, and they stop offering help. They assume you've got it all figured out because you wear the badge of a leader. But assumptions are dangerous, and often they leave the leader stranded on an island of expectation, feeling unseen, unsupported, and slowly overwhelmed. I know this because I've been there many times. In fact, there have been times in my own leadership where I looked successful on the outside, but inside I was running on fumes. And it wasn't because I didn't love what I was doing. I did, and I still do. But it was because I had forgotten the fundamental rule of leadership. The leader must first lead themself. No one can pour from an empty cup, and no one can fulfill their destiny dragging chains of self-neglect behind them. And here's another big truth. Doubt loves to creep in where self-care checks out. Let me repeat that. Doubt loves to creep in where self-care checks out. The less you look after yourself, the louder the sound of doubt becomes. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I've peaked. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's all too much. Maybe I'm no longer relevant. Ever had those thoughts? Well, you're not alone. But just because doubt whispers doesn't mean you have to listen or that it's true. Because we, yes, you and me, were born for destiny, not defeat. But before we can step forward, we must recognize where we've allowed the cracks to form. We must wake up to the reality that no one is coming to save us. And that's not a curse, that's a blessing. Why? Because it puts the pen of your life story right back into your own hands. And remember, we are the authors of our own lives, so you write the story you want. Because life doesn't just happen, we make it happen. And it starts right here, right now, with this simple but powerful realization. No one can look after the leader except the leader themselves. And we're worth looking after. So today we stop waiting. Today we take back the controls and move from doubt to destiny. Will you join me on that? Now that we've recognized the challenge and understand that no one looks after the leader except the leader themselves, the big question is, how do we do it? How do we shift from doubt to destiny, from just coping to thriving, from feeling invisible to living intentionally? Well, let me share with you 6 powerful insights that have personally reshaped my leadership and, honestly, my life. These aren't just theories, they're truths forged in the trenches through good and bad times. And if you'll grab hold of even one of them, you'll feel the shift start to happen. So insight number 1 is we need to speak differently. Let's be real. Sometimes the thing that needs changing isn't your circumstances, it's your conversation, the way you speak about yourself and others. You see, words aren't just communication, words are creation. What we say out loud, we start to believe internally. If you're constantly saying, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm not good enough, it's not my fault, guess what? Your mind, your spirit, even your body starts to agree with you. It's called self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's real. But here's the power. You can change your prophecy by changing your words. Instead of saying, I'm overwhelmed, try, I'm challenged, but I'm growing. Instead of, I can't do this, say, I'm still learning, but that's okay. Instead of, I'm stuck, declare, I'm preparing for my next breakthrough. And instead of saying, I've got to, say, I get to. So here's my first challenge for you. When you hear yourself slipping into negative self-talk, catch yourself and stop. Replace it immediately with a word of possibility. Say it out loud. It feels awkward at first, but stay with it because you are literally speaking your future into existence. Remember, we are the authors of our own lives, so let's write a better story. Insight number 2, take back the controls. Now, when people hear the word control, they immediately think, oh no, Des, I don't want to be controlling. Good, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about self-leadership control, the ability to govern your emotions, your habits, and your reactions. Because here's the deal. If you don't lead yourself, someone else will. We lead or we are led. You can't control every situation, but you can control how you respond by controlling your attitude, increasing your effort, lifting your standards, and believing in yourself. You know, there was a season in my own business where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. People left unexpectedly, projects collapsed, financial pressure mounted. And it would have been easy, so easy, to spiral into blame or bitterness. But I realized something powerful. I couldn't control the storm, but I could control how I sailed the ship. So I started each day by literally writing down 2 things: what I could control today and what I could let go of today because it was out of my control. A simple practice with massive impact. So my second challenge for you is, every morning this week when facing your challenges, write down what's in your control and what's outside of your control. Then focus only on what's yours to manage. Let go of the rest and watch your peace return. Insight number 3, it's okay to make mistakes. So let's get something straight. Perfection is a myth. And mistakes aren't the enemy. Fear of mistakes is the enemy. Every great leader, every innovator, every world changer you admire, they've all failed spectacularly at some point. The difference? They got up, dusted themselves off, learned their lessons, and went again. One of my favourite sayings, and you've probably heard me say this before, is sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And when we understand and adopt this, we never lose. Some of my biggest professional breakthroughs came directly after what looked like my biggest failures. Would I choose those failures again? No. But am I grateful for what they built in me? Absolutely. So my third challenge for you is this week, write a list identifying the mistakes you have made that actually taught you something valuable. Then reflect, celebrate the lessons, and move forward proud of your growth. Because you are human, but you're stronger than you think, and you've survived 100% of your worst days so far. Insight number 4, deal with personal attacks appropriately. If you're growing, you're going to ruffle feathers. If you're stretching, you're going to face criticism. It's not personal, but it is predictable. People criticize what they don't understand and attack what makes them feel uncomfortable about their own inaction. But here's your leadership superpower. Learn to filter the feedback. Ask 2 simple questions. Is this criticism valid? If yes, be humble, make adjustments, and thank them. Or is this criticism toxic or unfounded? If yes, thank them, put it in the bin, and move on. So my 4th challenge for you is next time criticism comes your way, take a deep breath. Don't react. Instead, reflect and respond, but never let someone else's opinion detour you from your destiny and from what is right. Remember, brave leaders will always be criticized. Weak leaders will always criticize. So insight number 5, life and leadership is more than just coping. Listen carefully to this. You were not designed to merely survive. You were built to thrive. And thriving isn't about achieving some mythical perfect balance. It's about finding your sources of renewal and joy and prioritizing them like your life depends on it. Because it does. Say yes to opportunities that stretch you. Say no to the things that drain you without purpose. Schedule fun into your calendar. When's the last time you really laughed out loud, like a real belly laugh? When's the last time you did something just for the sheer joy of it? If you can't remember, that's your next challenge. This week, book something life-lifting into your calendar. It could be a dinner with friends, a hike in nature, an afternoon off just to recharge. And don't apologise for it. Prioritise joy. Protect your energy and preserve your passion. Insight number 6, find a mentor. Let me say this with all the energy I can muster. You do not have to do leadership alone. Find someone who's a few steps ahead, someone who will listen without judgment, someone who will stretch your thinking and cheer you and your success. Years ago, I had a mentor who at a critical time in my career said just 3 words that changed my life. Des, back yourself more. Back yourself more. That simple encouragement gave me the courage to take the next big leap, and it's why I'm here today. So, here's my final challenge for you. Before the end of this month, identify one person you respect and simply ask, would you be willing to mentor me, even informally? Most will say yes, and if they don't, no drama. It just means there's someone even better for you. But you have to go looking. Every single day, whether you realise it or not, you are standing at a crossroads that demands you make choices. And one road is the path of doubt. Doubting your ability, doubting your impact, doubting your worth, listening and reacting to criticism, believing the lies that say it's too late, you're not enough. Who do you think you are? And the other road is the path of destiny, believing you were born to impact and make a difference. Trusting that even you don't have it all figured out. Action precedes clarity. Knowing that your story, your leadership, your life, they matter to you and to others. So which road will you choose? Because here's a leadership truth. Doubt will always be easier, but destiny will always be worth it. So why does this matter now more than ever? Because we're living in a world that desperately needs leaders of hope, resilience, innovation and courage. People are craving authenticity. They're craving leaders who don't just survive but thrive. Leaders who don't just talk about growth but embody it. Leaders who don't just cope but create new ways forward. And the greatest leadership challenge you will ever face is not out there, it's inside of you. It's the daily decisions to speak differently even when negativity feels easier, to take back the controls when life feels chaotic, to see mistakes as stepping stones instead of shame, to handle criticism with wisdom instead of woundedness, to refuse to just cope but instead choose to create, and to surround yourself with people who call you up, not drag you down. Because destiny isn't a lightning bolt moment, destiny is a series of daily decisions. Tiny, courageous, invisible to most decisions that add up to a life of massive impact. Remember, leadership isn't about perfection, it's about progress. So let's settle this once and for all. You don't have to have it all figured out to start. You don't have to feel confident every second of the journey, and you don't have to be fearless. You just have to fear less. Remember, action precedes clarity. You move, and then the path becomes clear. Don't wait around until you feel ready. You'll be waiting forever. Instead, take the next small, brave step immediately. Because life doesn't just happen. We make it happen. And we were not meant to be invisible. You've been listening to the Let's Go, Let's Grow podcast. I'm Des Penny, thanking you for tuning in. And if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps us spread the message of growth and leadership even further. Until next time, let's go, let's grow.